The Taken Treasures event in Pokemon Go is going down, and we're going to give you the top tips, tricks, strategies to max out on this event and to get after a lot of the rocket grunts in Pokemon Go. So let's take this to the next level. So welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go. Taken Treasures is going down on Saturday, the 27th at 10 a.m. And that's going to go all the way until the 1st at 8 p.m., which is going to be Thursday, so we have a lot going on during this event, so let's make sure we capitalize. And if you guys are here after this event, guys, and you want to see everything about the rockets, check out the timestamps and get right into tip number 1 where we're talking about all the rockets. There's going to be raids, there's going to be shadow raids, there's going to be brand new Giovanni, there's going to be brand new rocket grunts, and everything going down during this event. So let's get into my top tips, starting off with tip number 1. So there are a bunch of brand new rocket grunts that are going down during this event, starting off with Giovanni. Giovanni, as always, is going to launch off with Persian. Persian is a normal type Pokemon. I usually go after this either with a Melmetal, and I go after trying to waste a shield or two, or I go after Lucario. But I always put Lucario in spot number 2. The reason being is I'll go after, and usually I'll use the Melmetal, I'll use one shield, and then I'll switch over into Lucario so that it switch locks so it can start charging up its power-up punch, and so that I can use another shield so that when I'm going into the second Pokemon, I'm pretty much free and clear of all shields on these Pokemon, and I can use the power of the Lucario with the power-up punch and the Shadow Ball as a secondary move to go after it. So that's how I usually go in here. However, Kyogre is going to be a water-type Pokemon, so I highly suggest you guys go in there with something electric or grass. A Kartana would be a fantastic thing to go after this, but just a reminder, it does get waterfall, and it's going to hit you extremely hard when going in here. So having a grass move or an electric move, or even 2 of those saved up going in would help. Or if you have a Lucario and it's able to have a Shadow Ball, hitting that Pokemon with the Shadow Ball and switching into a grass type Pokemon would be extremely beneficial. But just a reminder, it does get blizzard, so if it is going to throw it, make sure you have at least one shield to be able to go after it. But let's go into all these leaders and lineups, and I'm going to put my notable ones of what I think are the most important. So for Giovanni, the second Pokemon could be either a Nidoqueen, it could be a Garchomp, or it could be a Rhyperior. If you're using a Kyogre into here, a lot of these Pokemon could get taken down by a Kyogre because we have the ground combination of 3 of those, so using a Kyogre here in the second spot would be a pretty good option. Like I said, I go in there with that Lucario, and if you are using a Melmetal, put a Thunder on that Melmetal, so if you need to circle it back after the first round of wasting the shield on this Persian, you guys can just throw a Thunder on the Kyogre Shadow form and then catch that. And then we do have Cliff. Cliff's brand new Pokemon is going to be a Zubat. Yes, a Zubat. And it's going to have a shiny potential. So Zubat shiny will be in the game. I'm actually not stoked that Cliff in this rotation is going to have it for a while, but stoked that the Zubat can be shiny now. So then from all the grunts, you can now get shiny Zubat as well. For the second Pokemon, it could be either an Aerodactyl, it could be a Kingdra, or it can be a Gallade. And finally, it can be a Crobat, a Tyranitar, or a Credilli. So once again, I just love the Lucario. I think Lucario absolutely wipes most of almost everything in a lot of these leaders lineups. So for this one, you may start off with a Melmetal and then switch into a Lucario. Melmetal because it has a Thunder Shock and it can get Rock Slide. Leader number 2 is going to be Arlo, my favorite of the 3 because of the Bagon. Bagon, shiny, Shadow. Once again, Shadow Bagon into Salamence is one of the strongest Pokemon in the game. If you guys do want to watch the video where I break it down, please check this video out up here. It is an extremely powerful Pokemon. It's actually stronger than Dragonite. The only downside to this Pokemon is that the Outrage is going to be an elite TM move because it was the move from Comday, okay? So normally it gets Draco Meteor, which is not the best move to have on this Pokemon. But once again, I go in there similar as I have done with Cliff each and every time. I'm going in there right up front with that Lucario. The only problem here is in the second spot, we have a strong Pokemon against what Lucario would be, which is going to be Charizard, Golurk, or Hypno, and all those Pokemon can hit relatively hard there. So having a Hydreigon in there might work as well, and a Kyogre would do well in this party as well. So for me, what I'm seeing right now is my rotation is going to be Lucario, Melmetal, and Kyogre for all of these leader Pokemon. Because then in spot number 3, we're going to have Dragonite, Scizor, or we're also going to be able to get Salamence. So could work out to your benefit, especially if you do have a Kyogre and you keep on Blizzard would hit out a lot of these flying type Pokemon, especially the flying dragons. And then finally, we have Sierra, and Sierra's brand new Pokemon is going to be a shiny Tentacool. And then we have Sableye, Melodic, and we also have Honchkrow in spot number 2. In spot number 3, we are going to get either Victory Bell, we are going to get Alakazam, or we're going to be able to get Houndoom. And once again, if you are running the same team that I talked about, would be Lucario, Melmetal, and then Kyogre. Kyogre with Blizzard and Melmetal with Thunder and Rock Slide. You guys are going to be able to blow through all of these teams once again. So pretty easy. But now let's get into the grunts. Normal type Melgrunt can have 3 shiny Shadow Pokemon actually. So this is a very valuable grunt. It can have Meowth, it can have Teddiursa, and it can also have Stantler. Fire type grunt can have the shiny shadow version of Growlithe, or it can also have Houndour, and it can have Chimchar. And Chimchar goes into Infernape. It is a new shiny shadow. It is not the best Pokemon. Then in the female water type, we can get the Barboach, we can get the Corphish, and then we can get the Piplup. And Piplup, once again, is one of the brand new Pokemon. I thought that Empoleon would be a pretty powerful Pokemon, but the best ranked it's going to be in the Ultra League, and it doesn't really sit too crazy high. It's in the 200s in the Great League, and it's going to be 153 in the Ultra League with Waterfall, Hydro Cannon, and Drill Peck. In the male water grunt, we are going to get the Magikarp, 1000 per Purify, pretty easy Pokemon. For the electric female grunt, we're going to get the Mareep, we are going to get the Blitzel, and our favorite little tick. Next, we're going to get the male grass grunt, which could be Hoppip, it could be Seedot, that does have a shiny, or Turtwig. For the female ice, we can get one of our favorite Pokemon, strongest ice type in the game, which is going to be the Swinub. Then we are also going to be able to get the Snorunt, that is the new shadow, and we can also get the Snover. And the Frostlass in the Great League is 106, 110 in the shadow. In the Ultra League, it's the best ranked in the shadow, but unfortunately, it's at 254. For the fighting grunt, we can get a shiny shadow Machop, which is amazing now. We can also get the Sneasel of the Hisuian form, and then we can also get ourselves the Makuhita. For the poison type, we can get the shiny Coughing in the shadow form, and we can get the brand new shadow version of Krogunk. Krogunk is going to go into Toxicroak. In the Ultra League, it's actually going to be ranked 55 with Counter Mud Bomb and Shadow Ball, which is pretty impressive. And the 100% IVs for that Pokemon is going to be a 0, 15, 12. So Cloudy Weather is not going to do it. And then in the Great League, it's going to be best ranked at 109 in the shadow form, which is not the best either. Ground Male Grunt can give you either a Alolan version of the Diglett, we can get a Wooper, or we can get a Drillbur, and it can also give you a secondary Rhyhorn. The female flying type can give you the shiny shadow version of the Murkrow or the Gligar, which is super exciting, or Starly, which is 1000 per Purified. The psychic male grunt is going to give you the Slowpoke or the Wobbuffet. The bug type male grunt can give you the shiny shadow version of Pineco and then some other Pokemon. The rock type grunt is one of the better ones because it can give you the Rampardos, right? Coming from the Cranodos shadow. That's a great one right there. The ghost type Kikiki can give you a Misdreavus, a Drifloon, or it could give you the Golett. The female Dragon type, the Roar, can now give you a Dratini that does have the shiny shadow version. We can get a Gibble in this one, or we can also get the Alolan Executor. Female Dark type Grunt, which is going to be where there's light, there's going to be shadow. More than likely, you're going to be seeing the Alolan version of the Rattata, which is going to be most common. And just remember that one's going to be double weak to fighting. The Steel type male Grunt will give you Alolan Sandshrew. It could give you a Skarmory, or also can give you the brand new version of the Pharaoh Seed. And the Pharaoh Seed goes into Pharaoh Thorn. Unfortunately for the Pharaoh Thorn, it's going to be 111 in the shadow, which is worse than the regular at 92. In the Ultra League, it's going to be 120, which is better than the 121 in the shadow, which both of them are not the best options there. Then the Fairy type Grunt can give you the Alolan Vulpix. We get the Ralts, or we can also get the shiny shadow version of the Mawile, which is awesome. And then we have the Winning is for Winners, which is going to be one of the Hoenn shadow starters. And if it's going to be a female winner is for winners, it could be the Snorlax, which is the strongest grunt, or honestly, to me, one of the strongest rocket lineups in the game, especially if you go triple Snorlax. You can even get Gyarados in there, Poliwrath, you can get Gardevoir, which hits super hard, and Dragonite. And then the female Rocket Grunt, if you guys do want to use it, and keep your Super Rocket Radar out, this one can actually give you the shiny shadow version of the Bellsprout, a good way to be able to go around that. So that is going to be the entire Rocket lineup that's going down during this event. It's a fantastic lineup. I think that there's good Pokemon in there. We have the shiny shadow Dratini going back into the Dragon Grunt, which is fantastic. There's a lot of shiny shadows in there as well. The flying one is actually pretty good, which normally it is not. So go after it, enjoy yourself, and then obviously take down the Kyogre, get the Kyogre, and move onwards. Which then leads us into tip 2. Tip 2 of this event is going to be to capitalize on the Rocket Grunts going on. I want to make sure that you guys are aware that the Chansey Com Day is coming up this following weekend, which will be 1/4 egg hatch distance, which will allow you to get 12 kilometer eggs, hatch those for a lot of Stardust. So I want to make sure you guys capitalize on that. But at the same time, guys, there's a lot of Grunts going down. So going after those Grunts with the increased rocket activity and then hatching 1 or 2 of those 12 kilometer eggs and just keep replenishing each and every time that goes through, I would love that, because remember, we're getting a brand new Pokemon, which is going to be Varoom, going into Revavroom, and unfortunately right now it's not updated in PvPoke, but as soon as it is, I will update the stats if it is relevant in the comments below. So being able to get that one is going to be in 12-kilometer eggs. Now, unfortunately, it's not a shiny, and I'm sure that most of us at some point will be like, man, I wish I would never hatch that Pokemon again, but until that point, it's gonna be in there. And then obviously, guys, we have to talk about TMing away frustration. So TMing away frustration, the best way for me to suggest you guys do that is I make a lot of top attacker videos. Any shadow legendary that you have, I would just say to TM away frustration on that Pokemon. There's no point to have it on any of the shadow legendaries that you have. Obviously, we have rated Pokemon, so if you're not gonna do anything with those rated Pokemon, because just remember, if you want to trade one of those, you can't trade a shadow, you're gonna have to purify and then trade it. So if it is like a mediocre stat, let's just say that it's like a 9, 10, 8 on a Shadow Moltres, I am gonna say just discard those Pokemon. But if you have like a 15, 12, 14, you're like, maybe at someday I might power this Pokemon up, then what I would suggest doing is going ahead and just TM away frustration. If you wanna see the Shadow Pokemon that are relevant in PvP, go to pvpoke.com and put in that Pokemon and see where it's ranked. And if you guys do want that, then go ahead and do it. But there's a lot of pretty good Shadow Pokemon in there. For Great League, some of the top Pokemon are Gligar at rank 3, Swampert at rank 5, 11 is Quagsire, 14 is Wishcast, 20 is Poliwrath, 28 is Bastiodon, and 29 is Abomasnow. For the Ultra League, Poliwrath is in 5th, 9 is Registeel, 21 is Swampert, 24 is Regirock, 29 is Gliscor, 33 is Skarmory, 34 is Zapdos, and 35 is Meganium. And then for the Master League, rank 7 is Dragonite, 10 is Mewtwo, 12 is Ho-Oh, 18 is Gyarados, 34 is Kyogre, 36 is Mamoswine, 37 is Ursaluna, and 38 is Snorlax. So there are a lot of really relevant Shadow Pokemon in GBL. You just have to figure out which one works for you, which is then going to lead us into tip 3. Tip 3, let's talk about the field research. We have defeat a Team Go Rocket Grunt, which can give you a lot of different dark and poison type Pokemon, which can be Coughing, Ekans, Zubat, Poochyena, or Krogunk. All of them do have shinies. If you want the hundos, pause the video and check it out. And then we have defeat 2 Team Go Rocket Grunts, which can give you a Paldean Wooper, a Scraggy, a Bruxish, a Mareanie, and a Nimble. Defeat 3 Team Go Rocket Grunts could give you a Hisuian Quillfish, or it could give you a Sableye. If it is a Sableye, give it a berry, run away from it. That one is a boosted Stardust Pokemon, and you want to stack that task up. Then we have catch a Shadow type Pokemon that can give you a mysterious component that can help you boost up all of your rocket radars. You can get multiple of them by just doing this task, which is fantastic. Every time you get 6, it's just going to give you another radar. And Purify 3 Shadow Pokemon, I'm going to say do not do this. If you do choose to do this, please only do the 1000 per Purify here. And then we're going to have the Taken Treasures event research that we have as well. In step 1, spin 10 Pokestops for 25 Pokeballs, defeat 5 Team Go Rocket Grunts for a Bruxish, makes 20 Curveball throws for 15 Great Balls. Then we have 1000 Stardust, 1 Incubator, and 1000 XP. Then we have catch 20 Pokemon for 5 Hyper Potions, transfer 25 Pokemon for a Scraggy, and defeat 5 Team Go Rocket Grunts for 5 Revives. Then we have 2000 Stardust, 3 Silver Pineapple Berries, and 2000 XP. Then we have make 30 Curveball Throws for 5 Max Revives, defeat 10 Go Rocket Grunts. For a Weezing and Counting, catch 5 Shadow type Pokemon, which is going to be 5 Max Potions, and we have 3000 Stardust, 1 Incense, and 3000 XP. And then finally we have transfer 30 Pokemon with for 3 TMs, defeat 10 Team Go Rocket Grunts for a Volibile encounter. And then we have Purify 10 Shadow Pokemon. Please use the 1000 per Purify for 4000 Stardust, a Pokeball Throw Pose, and 4000 XP. And beyond this, guys, we are still going to have some raids as well. Obviously, we have the Shadow Ho-Oh in raids, and we have the Landorus in Therian form, so those Pokemon are pretty good, man. I would definitely go after some of those, especially try to get that shiny Shadow Ho-Oh. In 1-star raids, we're going to get the Alolan Rattata and the Meowth. We are going to get the Alolan Grimer, and then we are also going to get the Galarian Zigzagoon. In 3-star raids, the Weezing, Galarian Weezing, we have the Tyranitar, and we have the Bombardier, and then we already talked about the other regular raids, which all of these raids are okay. I wouldn't suggest going after any of these, unless you're hunting something and you don't care if you don't get it and you enjoy the raiding experience. In the Shadow 1-star raids, we will get the Alolan Sandshrew. We're going to get the Murkrow as well as Pinecone. Both of those can be shiny. And then we're getting the brand new Shadow Krogunk. And in 3-star raids, we are going to be getting the Scyther, which has a shiny. We're going to be getting the Skarmory and the Golett. So like I said, guys, I'm not really the biggest fan of these raids, but here's what the overarching goal of this event is get out there, play a lot, get your Shadow Kyogres, enjoy your time, and have the best time in Pokemon Go during these Shadow events, guys. I've really grown to like and enjoy the Shadow events. I enjoy battling Shadow leaders and Shadow Grunts. I enjoy saving up the process. I enjoy getting the 12-kilometer eggs. And most importantly, I enjoy trying to get good Shadow Pokemon because they're challenging. But when you do get one, it's very rewarding and your RNG strikes. So stay after it. Enjoy your time. Love and appreciate you guys as always. To all of my likers, comment, subscribers, Patreon members. Everybody takes your support, subscription, and participation to us. I'll see you guys out on the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.